Nice to see so bright faces around. Chakshurum militam yena tasmai shri gurave Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shirupam Sarajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavaru Sute Devi Pranami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Hare Krishna. Everybody can hear me there in the back? Yes? Good. Good to know. So, we're gonna continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Nirantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada used to say, if all the religious books of the world disappear, but only the Bhagavatam remain, it's good enough to go back to Godhead, develop Krishna Prem. Amala Purana. So, we continue on verse 23. But I'm going to ask you to read the purport.
Yes,
I will read only the Sanskrit translation, since you have a good voice. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Please remind me the verse we recite before reading Bhagavatam. Remind me the first word, first line. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jayamudire shasta pranayashvishnu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati tamashloke bhakti bhavati naistiki Yeshu avadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamashloke bhakti bhavati naistiki. I can continue. Okay. We are reading from 3rd canto, chapter 29, text 23, explanation of devotional service. Dvishata parakaye mam Manino binna darshinaha Bhuteshu badha vairasya Namana shantim richati. Translation. One who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior toward other living entities.
Yes.
You can read it.
Yes, I'll read.
You need the mic, although. You can take it from here. It's easier, I guess.
Purport. In this verse,
Can be here? Everybody here there?
sorry.
No, something.
Purport.
Now.
In this verse, two phrases, Bhuteshu Baddha Vairasya, inimical towards others, and Drishtaha Parakai, envious of another's body, are significant. One who is envious of or inimical towards others never experience any happiness. A devotee's vision, therefore, must be perfect. He should ignore bodily distinctions and should see only the presence of the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and the Lord Himself in His plenary expansion as Supersoul. That is the vision of a pure devotee. The bodily expression of a particular type of living entity is always ignored by the devotee. It is expressed herein that the Lord is always eager to deliver the conditioned souls who have been encaged within material bodies. Devotees are expected to carry the message or desire of the Lord to such conditioned souls and enlighten them with Krishna consciousness. Thus they may be elevated to transcendental spiritual life, and the mission of their lives will be successful. Of course, this is not possible for living entities who are lower than human beings, but in human society, it is feasible that all living entities can be enlightened with Krishna consciousness. Even living entities who are lower than humans can be raised to Krishna consciousness by other methods. For example, Shivananda Sen, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, delivered a dog by feeding him prasad. Distribution of prasad or remnants of foodstuff offered to the Lord, even to the ignorant masses of people and to animals, gives such living entities the chance for elevation to Krishna consciousness. Factually, it happened that the same dog, when met by Lord Jagannath at Puri,
by Lord Chaitanya.
Lord Chaitanya at Puri,
No difference.
was liberated from the material condition. It is specially mentioned here that a devotee must be free from all violence, jiva himsa. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that a devotee not commit violence to any living entity. Sometimes the question is raised that since vegetables also have life and devotees take vegetable foodstuff, isn't that violence? Firstly, however, taking some leaves, twigs or fruits from a tree or plant does not kill the plant. Besides that, jiva himsa means that since every living entity has to pass through a particular types of body according to his past karma, although every living entity is eternal, he should not be disturbed in his gradual evolution. A devotee has to execute the principles of devotional service exactly as they are, and he must know that however insignificant a living entity may be, the Lord is present within him. A devotee must realize this universal presence of the Lord.
Om Magyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nandayate Girim Yatri Patamaha Pande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhava. Oops. It's okay. Maybe from now. So, one should not be envious of anybody, not violent to anybody, and should not discriminate people because of their bodies. And we know in this country there's a lot of discrimination, racial discrimination, like that, because they are in the bodily platform, so they discriminate others. Once some black devotees told Prabhupada, when we go out in Harinam, people laugh at us, not just because we are dressed as devotees, because we're also black. Prabhupada said, what do you care? If you go out with a red shirt and people laugh, oh, you have a red shirt, what do you care? You are not the shirt. So the same way, if people laugh or criticize your body, whatever, what do you care? You're not the body, the soul. So we should be like that, like very important. Prabhupada said these two words are very important. Bhuteshu Badha Vairasya, inimical toward others. One should not be inimical toward anyone. One should be friendly to everyone, even to lower species of life. That's why the devotees are shanta, peaceful, because they don't want to harm anyone at all. So sometimes they give this argument, where you're eating vegetables, you are also killing. And Prabhupada explains, is not killing. If you take an apple from a tree, you don't kill the tree. If you take some vegetables like that, even if you think like that, but you are offering it to the Lord, so the living entity in the body of those vegetables get the benefit. They rise faster to human life. So they are in the evolution, although all souls are eternal. There should not be whimsically, violence, unfounded violence. Like I came to know recently some so-called devotees, I could say called devotees, because they're saying, oh, abortion is okay because the soul doesn't die anyway. So what's the problem? Nobody's dying. But that's a misuse of the philosophy. Yes, nobody dies. It's true. Bhagavad Gita says, but Krishna told Arjuna, you must kill. But that killing, because it is directed by the Lord, Arjuna was not paying karma for killing others because he was following the direction of the Lord. It was necessary for a Kshatriya to fight for religious principles. So imagine when Prabhupada came to the West, was the Vietnam War. And he has to speak Bhagavad Gita that happened in the middle of a war. So it wasn't easy to convince people that this particular war is different from other wars. Everybody who died in the Kurukshetra war was delivered. Those who accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord, they went Vaikuntha. Those who were not accepting Him, they got moksha in Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. But everybody was liberated in that battlefield of Kurukshetra. So the other word is used here is envious of another's body. One may ask, why will somebody be envious of somebody else's body? Well, I mean to say, envious means you don't want the benefit of the other person. Just you want, you say, or you see them, they think you are the soul body, the person is the body. So you discriminate against the person, like that. So that should not be done. Or one should not be affected also by others doing it to oneself. If somebody discriminates you, whatever, in your job or traveling, because of the color of your skin or whatever, you should not care, not pay attention to it. Sometimes I get discriminated because I'm dressed like that, I remember once I was flying here in the U.S. and one man, he said, we were going inside the airplane. He said, no, this bag is too big. I said, the same size as the other person? No, you can't take it in. You have to check it, I say, why? No, you have to do. I said, I'm sorry. This is discrimination, religious discrimination. You don't like this race, what can I do? But this is not fair. I can complain to your superiors. Oh, okay, go. But they try to give trouble to others, Bhakti Sundar Thakur said that the materialistic mentality is, when I see others enjoying, I get sad that they are enjoying. And if I see them suffering, I enjoy, I'm happy, I'm better. That's the mentality that you can't tolerate seeing others better than you, doing better than you. That's the envious mentality, So they want, and all materialists, they want to compete with each other, to be first, But when devotee understand, Krishna is first. Everybody else is second. And our philosophy is Gopi Vartur Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Nudasa. Prabhupada said 1,000 times removed. Lord Jesus said, the first become the last and the last become the first. Meaning, if you want to put yourself first, then you are sent back. And if you go to the back, you may be asked to come first. Depends on the mentality. So this mention here of that all human society should be given opportunity to come to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada mentioned the importance of prasad distribution. Even animals can get benefit from taking prasad. And the story is told here in Chaitanya Charitamrita about a dog. Every year, devotees from Navadvip, they will go to Ratayatra in Jagannath Puri. Shivananda Sena, he will be the leading all the party of devotees. So one time, one stray god was following him, and he was giving him prasad. The dog became attached to him. He will not leave his company. Wherever he go, he will go. So they came to a point they have to cross a river. And the owner of the boat will not allow the dog inside the boat. So he has to pay him extra money to allow the dog in. And then they came outside of Jagannath Puri, and Shivananda said, stay here in this room, this place, while I go and arrange for your rooms, where you're going to stay. And please don't forget to feed the dog prasad. Yes. All right, so Shivananda Sena went and came back next day. Okay, everything's arranged. Where is the dog? We don't know. Have you given him prasad? Oh, sorry, we forgot. Go look for the dog and feed him right now. You have to find him. Just see how, no? Because he took shelter, and he could not abandon him, You remember the story in the Mahabharata when Yudhishthira Maharaj was going to heavenly planet? One dog was following him. When the chariot from heavenly planet came, Biman, he wanted the dog to come with him. He said, no, dog can't go to heavenly planet. Not possible. Then I stay. If you don't allow him, I will not stay. He accompanied me all the way. How can I abandon him now? It's not right. It's a dharma. So I'm not going. All right, then the dog became a devata. He was being tested, like that. So in this story also, you will see that devotees care for every living entity, not only humans, even non-humans. They also care. So the devotees were searching for the dog even at night with torchlight. They could not find it. Okay, what can we do? So they went to see Lord Chaitanya next day. They went to their rooms and everything. And first before going to see Lord Jagannath, they went to see Lord Chaitanya first. Paid their obeisance. And to their surprise, the same dog was there. And Lord Chaitanya was throwing coconut prasad to him, coconut pulp. And the dog was jumping in the air and catching it with the teeth, And then Lord Chaitanya ordered the dog, chant the names of Krishna. And the dog started chanting, Krishna, 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 to the surprises of everyone. And next day, and when the devotees saw the dog, they paid obeisance to the dog, asking forgiveness for not feeding him, for forgetting to feed him prasad, like that. So that's the humbleness of the devotee. They can pay obeisance to a dog because they see the Lord is in the heart of the dog also, So Prabhupada said in the explanation of the Maha Mantra that even a dog can, be called Krishna, or even a child can be. So I need to say, when I joined the movement in South America, we used to go every day on Harinam for 5-6 hours every day, Harinam, distribute some magazine. It was something new for the people. They never seen devotees. So as soon as we stop in one place, 400 or 500 people come around because something new. They never seen people dressed like this, jumping and dancing, It was something unusual for them. So one of those times, while the devotees were happy, chanting, dancing, one stray dog came in front of the devotee and started to dance, turning around, like trying to catch his tail, and then the other way around, and then start to make little jumps, And one man next to the devotee said, "Oh, you have trained him very nicely." He thought we trained him to do this. He just did it spontaneously. And when Mataji was distributing sweets, he gave the dog one sweet, and the dog was very happy. So we see that this Sankirtan movement can benefit not only human beings, even animals, but especially is meant for human beings. So one day this dog didn't came back again, And a devotee asked, what happened to the dog? Lord Chaitanya said, he went back to Vaikuntha. He gave up his body, went back to Vaikuntha. This reminds me of another dog, very fortunate dog, that happened in Navadvip. That's in the Chaitanya Mangal by Lochan Das Thakur. That when Nimai, little Nimai, start going out with his friend and play games and things, one day they found some stray dogs, puppies, small puppies, and Nimai chose one beautiful puppy. He took it home. So they were playing with the puppy. They called the puppy, he will not go. Only when Nimai called him, he will go to him. So some of the boys became upset, only want to play with you, doesn't want to play with us, I'm leaving. So one of the boys left. On the way, he met Mother Sachi. He complained to her, your son Nimai is playing with dog inside the house. No, this can't be. She came in, immediately told Nimai, go take bath in the Ganga. You touch the dog. Muchi. Unclean. I mean, here in America, people love dogs. They kiss the dog, eat the same plate with the dog, sleep with the dog. That's not very nice, no. Vedic culture, they also have dogs, but they keep them outside the house to protect the house from strangers, whatever. Here even they have a hair salon for dogs, beauty salon for dogs. It's more expensive than human being cutting hair, more hair to be cut. And some rich people, when they go on vacation, they want to leave the dog. There is a 5-star hotel for dogs in New York, yes. They have a limousine, they take them to the park. The dog is... So when Prabhupada was in South America, Venezuela, he was speaking with one university professor, and he was telling him, if you misuse your human form of life, you don't have any spiritual life, you may risk the next life you become an animal like a dog. And the professor said, what is wrong with that? It's a nice thing to become a dog. Prabhupada was shocked, if you say anybody in India become dog, they become very frightened, But those people, they have to go and see how the dogs in India, how they are. Once Prabhupada was walking with devotees in Juhu Beach, and a stray dog passed through. It was very thin, very like that. Prabhupada said, see, he's unhappy because he has no master. And then next, one man came with his dog. The dog was well fed, strong. Prabhupada said, he's happy, he has a master. Prabhupada said, don't tell anyone, but this Kanti Mala here, it means we are Krishna's dogs. He will protect, he's our master, he will protect us. He will take care of us. Don't tell anyone. That's only amongst us. Anyway, once Prabhupada was walking in a park with disciples, some sannyasis were there with their danda, And one man stopped and asked the devotee, what are these roads for, this smoke? And they look at Prabhupada, tell him to chase dogs away. Or sometimes they mistake it for a fishing road, When I used to travel with Danda, but they give so much trouble in the airlines. They wanted to open the clothes, see what's inside and all this. That's why I stopped doing it, It's not practical. But they answered this, yes, we fish souls from the material world, out of this material world. When Lord Jesus was start preaching, he first preached to the fishermen, that. He helped them to get a lot of fishes, so they have faith in him. And once they have faith in him, he told them, give up all this, let's go and fish human beings. That was his plan. Something higher. Higher engagement. So Srila Prabhupada gave us higher engagement in life, wonderful engagement in Krishna consciousness. that any human being can take advantage of it and makes his life perfect. Even in this same life, it is possible to make our life perfect and go back home, back to Godhead. There's no much really happiness in this world, very little, very insignificant. Once the devotee experiences higher taste in the spiritual life, he loses taste for this lower so-called, pleasures in this world. Because it is not possible to give up something unless you have something better to replace it, Param drishtva nivartate. That's the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So, all animals are evolving to human life, So one day they will come to become human. So if they are killed before their natural death, they have to continue back to the years they have to pass in that animal body. So we are, by killing them, not only harming them, but also curtailing their progress toward human life. So it's double violence, double violence. Unfortunately, the present society are very ignorant of this. The leaders are very ignorant of this fact of the laws of karma. And they do a lot of big karma, forbidden activities. I mean, not only in the West, even in India, I remember some years ago in India, I was with devotees going some Ratha Yatra in one town, And we passed in front of a place, a lot of ladies with saris and vegetarian food being served. And I asked the devotee, I can't read Hindi, so I asked him what this, this is, and they are inaugurating an abortion clinic. I say, what? And they're dressed in saris and serving vegetarian food. I told him, why are they doing this? He said, they think anything from the West is progress. Anything coming from the West, materially speaking, is material progress. So they think like that. I mean, it's amazing how they can forget their own culture. That violence is not good. Mahimsayat sarva bhutani. Don't commit violence against any living entities. Because sometimes people ask me, where in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna say you should not eat meat? When he's saying, patram pushpam phalam toyo akta prayashyati, he's telling you not to offer him meat. Only this kind of food he will accept. So you can't offer him something he's not asking for. And if you don't offer your food to Krishna, even vegetarian, you're committing violence. Because you're not acknowledging that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme owner of everything, that everything should be offered first to Him before taking or distributing to others, then that means you are committing violence. Or if you can help somebody spiritually and you don't do it, also violence. One should be compassionate toward the suffering of others. Paradukka dukhi, the devotee should be paradukka dukhi. He feels sad when see other people suffering. So that's why he wants to help them by giving them Krishna consciousness. To ease their... Actually, this movement is a movement to ease people's suffering. Relief. It's a relief movement. All over the world, devotees are doing this. Greatest service to humanity. Srila Bhakti Sundar Saraswati Prabhupada used to say, the devotee who worshiping the Lord in the temple, ringing the bell, his service is thousands of times more valuable than person doing humanitarian work, opening hospital, giving medicine, whatever. It's thousands times more valuable because one service pleasing the Lord, other is just for the service of the bodies. So the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita is to know that we are not these material bodies, we are spirit souls. That's the first lesson. And the soul doesn't die. The soul is eternal. But that doesn't justify unnecessary violence. Should not be done. Once a devotee, as Prabhupada was visiting a temple, Prabhupada, there are too many mouse in the temple, should we put traps to kill it? Prabhupada said, no, we should kill you for being dirty. If you keep everything neat, clean, why they should come? Don't leave food outside. Sometimes the devotee asks, to kill, insects, whatever. We should avoid as much as possible violence against other living entities. Once Prabhupada was in his room and he saw a cockroach, so he called the servant, catch the cockroach. Don't kill it, just catch it. What he catch it, threw it to the window. And Prabhupada told the cockroach, I give you the whole world. Enjoy. So that's the mentality of the body, They don't want to harm any living entity. They are not envious of others because they see the Lord is in the heart of that living entity. We should desire the benefit of everyone. So let's continue reading. Text 24. Aham uchavachai dravyai Kriyayotpannaya nagaye Naiva tushyer chitor richayam Naiva tushyer chitor chayam Bhuta grama vamaninaha. My dear mother, even if he worships me, if he worships with proper rituals and paraphernalia, a person who is ignorant of my presence in all living entities never pleases me by the worship of my deities in the temple.
There are 64 different prescriptions for worship of the deity in the temple. There are many items offered to the deity, some valuable and some less valuable. It is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita, if a devotee offers me a small flower, a leaf, some water or a little fruit, I will accept it. The real purpose is to exhibit one's loving devotion to the Lord. The offerings themselves are secondary. If one has not developed loving devotion to the Lord and simply offers many kinds of foodstuffs, fruits and flowers without real devotion, the offering will not be accepted by the Lord. We cannot bribe the personality of Godhead. He is so great that our bribery has no value, nor has he any scarcity. Since he is full in himself, what can we offer him? Everything is produced by him. We simply offer to show our love and gratitude to the Lord. The gratitude and love for God is exhibited by a pure devotee who knows that the Lord lives in every living entity. As such, temple worship necessarily includes distribution of prasad. It is not that one should create a temple in his private apartment or private room, offer something to the Lord and then eat. Of course, that is better than simply cooking foodstuff and eating without understanding one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. People who act in this manner are just like animals. But the devotee who wants to elevate himself to the higher level of understanding must know that the Lord is present in every living entity. And as stated in the previous verse, one should be compassionate to other living entities. A devotee should worship the Supreme Lord, be friendly to persons who are on the same level, and be compassionate to the ignorant. One should exhibit his compassion for ignorant living entities by distributing prasada. Distribution of prasada to the ignorant masses of people is essential for persons who make offerings to the personality of Godhead. Real love and devotion is accepted by the Lord. Many valuable foodstuffs may be presented to a person, but if the person is not hungry, all such offerings are useless for him. Similarly, we may offer many valuable items to the deity, but if we have no real sense of devotion and no real sense of the Lord's presence everywhere, then we are lacking in devotional service. In such a state of ignorance, we cannot offer anything acceptable to the Lord.
Hare. So this reminds me one past time. Shivananda Sena had a son. Anybody remember the name of the son of Shivananda Sen? Yeah, that's one son, but there's another son. Anyway, I will remember his name later, or somebody of you may remember his name. Once Lord Chaitanya Shivananda Sen went to the sun to see Lord Chaitanya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Shivananda Sen, who is the father and who's the son? Obviously, Shivananda is the father and the son is the son. But Shivananda Sen understood why the Lord was asking such a question. The name was Raghunandana. See, the name came. That's Paramatma. You can't control what you remember, what you don't remember. It just come to you. That's proof that Paramatma is real. He's in the heart. I didn't make any effort to remember. It just came. So Shivananda said, actually, Raghunanda is my father and I am his son because he taught me real devotion to the Lord. And why he said that? Because once Shivananda Sena was going on a trip and he asked his son, was, young son, maybe 10, 12, in my absence, you offer the Lord the food, the bowl. And make sure he will eat everything nicely like that. So, yes, Father, of course. And the mother cooked the food, and Raghunandan took the plate of the altar. Krishna's deity there. He put the altar and say some prayers, and the Lord accepted humbly this food. So he went out, waited a few minutes, 15, 20 minutes, and came in full course. The plate was the same. But Raghunandan in his innocence, in his devotion, pure devotion to the Lord, he was crying, my Lord, you didn't like my offering. Why you didn't eat anything? My mother cooked with much love for you. Please eat. My father will be upset because he gave me instruction, make sure the Lord eats everything. So if you don't eat, I will be in trouble. Please, my Lord, accept this food. So again, forgive me if I don't know all the mantras to be chanted. So he again went out, waited. When he came in again, the food disappeared from the plate. He was happy. Oh, Krishna accepted my offering. So when the father came back, the mother told him, your son is saying that Krishna ate all the food. and the father asked the son, I came tired from traveling. You offer now also again. So the father went behind the curtain to see how Krishna was eating, So the Raghunatha told the deity of the Lord, my Lord, please eat again like you ate this morning. Accept the food. No, I can't because your father is hiding behind the curtain. I don't want him to see. No, he's also your devotee, please. Allow him to see. Only because you're asking me, I will do it. Go and bring your father inside the altar. By the hand, he will see us. So Shivananda Sena came in, and the Lord stepped down from the altar, sit down and ate everything. The deity. So the Lord in the temple is not a statue, it's not an idol. Like in India, they say idol. It's not an idol, it's living. It's an Archavigraha. It's an avatar of Krishna coming in this form to the world to give opportunity, service to others, to give service to others. So deity worship is not complete unless there is prasad distribution. Prabhupada explaining. Harinam Sankirtan, chanting of the holy name, and prasad distribution should go along with deity worship, otherwise not complete. It's very important. This. Once a devotee couple got married and asked Prabhupada what is our duty as a grihastana, Prabhupada said, before you eating, come out of the door of your house and shout, anybody hungry, please come and eat. And if nobody comes, then you can sit in. If somebody comes, you should feed first the guest, then you can eat. Like that. So anyway, that's Vedic culture, That's Vedic culture. Prabhupada said in India, if you go anybody's home and they have a mango tree or any fruit tree and you take something, they will not say anything, but you can take with you. You can eat everything you want there, like that. But if in America you to somebody inside the house, they may shoot. Trespass. It's a different culture now. Anyway, so I didn't finish the story of the second dog, Chaitanya Manga. So when Sachi Devi came home, she told Nimai, "Oh, go take bath. You touched this dirty dog, you know. But please don't throw away my little puppy. I love him, you know. Don't throw him away." No, okay. But just I will tie him to the chair here. Go take bath. So when Nimai went to take bath in the Ganga, Sachi Devi threw the little puppy outside to the street, you know. When Nimai came back, "Where is my puppy?" "Oh, I'm sorry, he left." Anyway, this puppy became very fortunate because was touched by the Lord, was hugged by the Lord, you know. So one day, in the marketplace, 100,000 people there, suddenly they hear somebody chanting, "Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda." Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda. 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 Everybody was looking around, who's chanting Radhe? They could not see anyone, but they looked down on the floor and they saw little puppy chanting and dancing on two legs. He was dancing and chanting. They were surprised, a miracle, the dog is chanting. So big crowd around the dog, and they were encouraging him, they were, you know, clapping and encouraging him and chanting, you know. And suddenly the puppy jumped in the air and fell dead. Oh, poor dog, poor dog. A man came from Vaikuntha, and he took a spiritual body and went back to the thousands of people saw this miracle. So just see, you know, Lord Chaitanya came to deliver not only human beings, everybody got the opportunity, what to speak of human beings. So once Narad Muni went to Vaikuntha with the intention to test the Mahaprasad of the Lord. But the Lord forbade all his servants associated with Lakshmi. Nobody can give my Mahaprasad to Naradji. Forbidden. So Narad Muni wasn't very eager, you know, to have the Mahaprasad. So he always find a way. So he started assisting Lakshmiji in the service of the Lord, doing the plate, cleaning everything. Menial servant, very humbly, very everything. So after some time, Lakshmiji told him, "My dear Naradji, I'm very pleased with your service, very humble, very nice. You can ask me anything you want." "Oh, I want the Mahaprasad of the Lord." So Lakshmi was in the dilemma, what to do. If the Lord did say no, she can't go against the wish of the Lord. So she went to the Lord and this happened, what should I do? Lord smiled, this Narji is very clever. Only this time you can give my Mahaprasad. So Naradji had a wonderful Mahaprasad feast, you know. And he left Vaikuntha in ecstasy. He was laughing, crying, you know, rolling on the ground. He was hair standing on end, you know, was complete happiness, ecstasy. So he arrived in Kailash. So Lord Mahadev, Shiva, "My dear brother, why you're so happy today? Why you're so in ecstasy? What happened to you?" "Oh, I got the Mahaprasad of the Lord of Vaikuntha." "Oh, you didn't save anything for me?" "Oh, it was so delicious. I'm sorry. But I didn't wash my hands. So I have a little few rice grain in my fingers. Would you like that?" Yeah, anything, please." So he scratches, gave few grains of rice to Lord Shiva Mahadev. And Shivji took that Mahaprasad, and he was also rolling in the ground, laughing, crying, in ecstasy. So Parvati Mataji told him, "My dear husband, why are you so in ecstasy today?" "Oh, I had the Mahaprasad of Vaikunteshwar. You didn't save anything for me." "Oh, I'm sorry, it was very little. Maybe it was not meant to have it." Said, "Okay, that may be, but I will do tapasya to please the Lord to get this Mahaprasad." So she, with great devotion, starting, doing fasting on the Kadashi, and all austerities like that to please the Lord. And when the Lord was pleased with her, he appeared to her. So she prayed the Lord, my dear Lord, I don't want the Mahaprasad only for myself. I want it also to the living entities, in this material world. And the Lord give blessing, yes. When I will come in my Daru Brahma, Lord Jagannath, you will be the first one to get my Mahaprasad, then everybody else can have it. That's why in the Jagannath temple, there is a small temple of Bimala Devi. They offer first the Mahaprasad to her to fulfill the promise of the Lord. Then it is distributed to everyone, even to animals they give Mahaprasad, So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to Krishna to have the ray of Vishnu, and he sent Srila Bhakti Sundar Saraswati Thakur, he gave him the name Bimala Prasad. Now the question, why he gave such a name to him, to his son? The reason, in my poor understanding, humble understanding, is that to fulfill the desire of the Lord, that not only people in India will get the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath, but all over the world. Vimala Prasad Bhakti Saraswati asked his dear disciple, Prabhupada, go and preach in the West. And by doing so, he also started Ratha Yatra. Prabhupada learned Ratha Yatra at the age of 8. He did his first Ratha Yatra at the age of 8 in his neighborhood. His father bought a car and they decorated the car, they polished the car and everything. The neighbor for 8 days. So Prabhupada said, I learned from my father Ratha Yatra and deity worship. Prabhupada received from his father Radha Krishna deity when he was a child. He was going to school. But when he had exams to study, he put them in a box, and for a few days he would not worship them. And one night he had a dream, the deity chastising him. Abai, we haven't been worshipped for a few days now. Please take us out of the box, offer us food, we are hungry. So immediately. So just see, even as a child, we have very close personal relationship with Krishna. So Prabhupada started the Ratha Yatra, all over the world. And that's the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath was distributed to everyone, without any discrimination. So that's the meaning of the name Vimal Prasad that Bhakti Sundar Saraswati received. That is through his dear disciple, he will distribute the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath all over the world. That's I realized that. Anyway, you can raise your hand anytime if you have any comment or question. Let us finish the verses we are to read here. Okay. Now it's 25, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Archada Varchayetava Ishwaram Swakarmakre Yavan Veda Swahidi Sarvabhuteshu Avastitam. Performing his prescribed duties, one should worship the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until one realizes my presence in his own heart and in the heart of other entities as well. I will read. Worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is prescribed herewith, even for persons who are simply discharging their prescribed duties. There are prescribed duties for the different social classes of men, the Brahmana, the Vaishya, the Kshatriyas, and Shudras, and for the different ashram, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. One should worship the deity of the Lord until one appreciates the presence of the Lord in every living entity. In other words, one should not be satisfied simply by discharging his duties properly. He must realize his relationship and the relationship of all other living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not understand this, then even though he discharges his prescribed duties properly, it is to be understood that he is simply laboring without profit. The word Swakarma Krit in this verse is very significant. Swakarma Krit is one who engages in discharging his prescribed duties. It is not that one who has become a devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No, no one should be lazy under the plea of devotional service. One has to execute devotional service according to his prescribed duties. Swakarma Krit means that one should discharge the duties prescribed for him without neglect. So that's very important. That says there is swadharma and should not be given up. Swadharma, prescribed duty means according to your ability. You know, Krishna said he created this system, of dharma, varnashram. You know, sometimes they call Hindu religion, but Prabhupada said actually it's varnashram. That's the Vedic culture is based on this varnashram. Daivi varnashram means put God in the center, because there is asura varnashram also. What example of asura varnashram? Anybody remember any story from that? Huh? Hiranyakashipu? Well, he knew about. He had some spiritual knowledge, because when his brother Hiranyaksha was killed, he was preaching to his family member that the soul is eternal. You should not lament. So he had a spiritual knowledge, but the person who was more like Asura, following Varnashram, was Jarasandha. Jarasandha, he was giving charity to the Brahmana. He was Kshatriya. He was doing his Swadharma, giving charity to the Brahmins. So Krishna took advantage of that to kill him. He was an Asura, he's a demon. So he went along with Bhim and Arjun, and this guy as Brahmana, to ask charity. So he, just by looking at them, he understood they are not Brahmin, they are Kshatriya. He saw the mark of the Danur. There is the Danur. Danush. The bow on the shoulder, and the big shoulder, like strong like that, and that can be Brahman. So he confronted them. I can see you're not Brahman. You disclose who you actually are. So then Krishna told him, this is Bhim, and this is Arjun, and I am Krishna, your eternal enemy. He said like that. So you can choose to fight with any one of us. And Jarasandha laughed. Okay, since you came as Brahmana, I will fulfill your desire. With Krishna, I can't fight with you, because I don't know if you're actually Vaishya or Kshatriya. You grew up among cowards, so it's not clear what ashram, what varna you are. So I can't fight you. And Arjun is younger than me, would not be fair fight. He's younger. But Bhim is the same strength, same power as me. I will fight him. So that was decided. So the fight went on for days and days, 1, 2, 3 weeks. Bhim was desperate, he could not defeat Jarasandha. So he was looking at Krishna, please help me, to give me some indication, how can I do it? So Krishna took a twig and turned it in half, like that. So I understood, I have to. Because Jarasandha, you know the story, his father wanted to have a son. So he asked one Brahmin, one sage, to do some yajna for him to have a son. So he did, and he gave him the fruit. You give to your wife, you will have a son, no doubt. But the king had two wives. He didn't want to give only to one wife. He so split the fruit in half and gave half to each. The result was each one of them had only half son. Death wasn't alive. So he was sorry that he made such mistake. So he, okay, put in the grave in the forest. And then one witch called Jara, she found the both and she put it together and the child came alive. So she took to the king. Here is your son alive. Oh, you ask me anything, I will give to you. I only my name be given to them. Okay, this name will be Jarasandha, the one who was united by Jara. So Krishna knew that secret of that. So that's why he indicated to Bhima, you can kill him this way, by bifurcating him in half. And Bhima, while fighting Jarasandha, he tore it, put it on the ground and pulled his leg, tore it in half. Oh, I'm victorious, But when he turned this back, the two united back again. Like when you put iron magnet, get together again. And again fighting. So he was desperate again. Then Krishna threw a twig and turned it the other side, So Bhima understood. When he did that again, turned the body so they can't come join again together. That's why he was killed. And this Jarasandha appeared in Chaitanya Lila. Who was he in Chaitanya Lila? No, not the Kazi. Kazi was Kamsa's past life. But Jarasandha became, what is the name of that king? Who was Hussein Shah. Nawab Hussein Shah. He was Jarasandha's past life. When he saw Lord Chaitanya, he asked Rupa Goswami, was working under him. Oh, the sannyasi, 1,000 people following, who is he? Rupa Goswami was afraid that he may want to harm him. No, it's one of so many sannyasis. No, he's not one of many, he's special. I can see some effulgence, and he's not giving people any money or nothing or food to follow him, but thousands of people. For me, he must be an avatar, the Lord. Was very intelligent. Anyway, so all right, let's continue reading. Finish until 27.
Yes, Lord.
Next verse 26. Atmanacha parasyapi ya karoti antanudaram tasya vinna drisho mrityu vidate vaya udvanam. As the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination between himself and other living entities because of differential outlook. Purpose. There are bodily differentiation among all varieties of living entities, but the devotee should not distinguish between one living entity and another on such a basis. The devotee's outlook should be that both the soul and super soul are equal present in all varieties of living entities. This reminds me of one pastime, Rupa Goswami. He will enter Samadhi. He will witness the Leela of Krishna and Vrindavan and write about it. And one day he was in full absorption, Leela Smaran. And one devotee who had, some bodily defects, he would walk, all his extremities would go twisted like that. So he came to pay obeisance to Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami started laughing. So this devotee felt offended. And he left the place very much disturbed, thinking, even Vaishnava discriminate, the body of others like that. He was thinking like that. So Rupa Goswami's smaran stopped. He could not continue meditating on the pastimes of the Lord. So he tried again and again. He could not do it again. So he asked his elder brother, Guru Sanatan Goswami, my dear brother, this happened to me. Why? Do you know why this happened? He said, yes. Maybe unknowingly you committed some offense against the Vaishnava. There is no other reason. Unknowingly, of course, I know you, knowingly you will never do it. But maybe unknowingly happened. And how can I know who is the person offended so I can ask forgiveness from? Well, I was in meditation, I could not see anyone. All right, my suggestion is invite everyone for prasad. And the person who doesn't come, that's the person who's offended. So he did that arrangement. He invited all Vaishnavas from Vrindavan. At that time, there were not so many. It was just starting to be populated. So that Vaishnava didn't come. So then Rupa Goswami realized, oh, this Vaishnava must be upset with me for some reason. So he went to see the Vaishnava at his home and brought some Mahaprasad for him. Please accept this Mahaprasad. If I offended you unknowingly, please forgive me. And the man accepted. He said, yes, I felt offended because I came to offer my dandavat to you. And you start laughing. So I thought you were laughing at my deformity. So I felt hurt, you know. No, Rupa, I was not laughing at you at all. Please don't think like that. Then why was you laughing then? Oh, you're forcing me to tell you the truth. I will tell you the truth. I was in Lila Smaran, and I saw in my spiritual vision the Radha Krishna Lila. Radharani and the gopis were collecting flowers to make garlands for Krishna. Krishna was hiding in the branches of one big tree, and Radharani was trying to catch some flower from the branch, was a little up. So Krishna, with his foot, he pulled it down so Radharani can catch the branch and take the fruit, the flowers. But while Radharani was doing that, Krishna took off his foot and the branch jumped up, along with Radharani jumped up also. So that made me laugh. You know. Krishna was very naughty, you know. And then the Vaishnava fell at the feet of Rupa Goswami, asked him, please forgive me for offending. I offended you by thinking like that. So they hugged each other. You know. So Vaishnava sometimes may have misunderstanding, but they shall come together, sit down, talk, and you know, solve their whatever misunderstanding, come to you know. Devotees should not keep grudge against each other. It's not good, you know. Because you can't go in front of the deity of the Lord and having in heart some grudge against anybody, you know, especially the Lord. You should try to get rid of that. Sometimes tell people, if you hate somebody, it's like you want bad things for that person because you hate that person. It's like drinking poison expecting the other person will die. You're poisoning yourself by this bad feelings of hatred against anybody. Once a devotee asked Prabhupada, who is the worst enemy of the devotee? And Prabhupada's answer was the devotee himself. You can be your best friend or worst enemy. And how can we be our worst enemy? By following the dictation of the mind. The mind is the mad woman of the house, according to one Christian saying. The house is the body, and the mad woman of the house is the mind. So we should not listen to this mad woman. We shouldn't. I mean, sometimes they want to ask me, what can I do? The mind preach to love to me. Then preach back, you know. Know the philosophy, have better argument to defeat the mind. You know? But the mind is very stubborn, very, you know, crazy. So we shouldn't ignore it. The best thing to deal with the mind is to ignore it. It becomes very whimsical. Just ignore it, don't pay attention to it. then we can overcome. Arjuna asked the same question to Krishna. My dear Krishna, the mind is very difficult to control. It's like stopping the wind, the storm of their hand. And Krishna said, yes, but by practice, daily practice and detachment, you can control the mind. Daily practice means sadhana. We rise early in the morning, before the sunrise, and we practice. In the morning, eagles, before taking flight, they open their wings under the sun, and when the wings are warm enough, they take flight. In the same way, we rise early in the morning, we do our sadhana, we get a little warm up, and then our consciousness get higher, elevated. Do you remember the story once I told you about the eagle who taught himself to be a chicken? Anybody don't know the story? Raise your hand if you don't know the story. Okay, some of you don't know it, so I must tell it again. Gonna hear it again?
Yes.
Okay. So the story goes like this. In a stormy night, an eagle's egg fell down from the hill unharmed. So at sunrise, one hen found it, and with her wing, she put it in her nest. And after a few weeks, all eggs came small chicken, one small eagle. So the small eagle was surrounded by chicken. He thought himself to be chicken too. So he was following the hen everywhere. She was feeding him also like a child. And he became part of the chicken community. So one day, the small eagle looked at the sky and he saw a big eagle flying majestically in the sky. So he asked his mother hen, what bird is that flying so beautiful? Oh, that's the eagle. But you are a chicken. Don't forget that. You are my son, you're a chicken. So the moral of the story is, if you want to fly like an eagle, don't listen to the chicken. Meaning, if you want to go higher spiritually, don't listen to the ignorant, materialistic people. Don't be influenced by their way of thinking. But the story doesn't end there. The eagle who was flying high in the sky with his eagle eye saw the small eagle down there. So he came down, called him apart. What are you doing living with this chicken? Well, I'm a chicken. I live here. This is my family, brother, sister, mother. No, you are not a chicken. You are an eagle like me. Really? Yes. But they told me that I was a chicken. Don't listen to them. They're lying to you. An eagle can recognize another eagle. You are born to fly, not to be here. Would you like me to teach you how to fly? Yes, I saw you flying so beautifully. Please teach me. Okay. Come in my bag. Let's go from here. Okay. Pray pranam to all the chicken family. And left. And do you know how eagles teach their offspring how to fly? They push them out of the nest. Of course, they wait until the wings are grown out. I've seen the documentary, they're struggling in the mid-air, poor eagles there. But they need this push to lose fear of height, So we all need to push, in spiritual life, to make this step, Okay, let's get prepared. Let's, increase our chanting, follow the principles, It's very important. We need a little push. Prabhupada told the devotees, our movement is like a train. I push you push other, the train goes. Like that. So, the teaching is that the big eagle is the guru. And the small eagle, confused that he's a chicken, is the disciple. So the guru is rescuing the disciple from ignorance, from bad association. To believe that his chicken means he believes he's the body, And to believe that his ego means he's a spirit soul who can fly back home, back to God. That's the meaning of this story, which I made up, by the way. Part of it, at least. Anyway, so Prabhupada said, when we engage in the mind in the unnecessary sense gratification, the mind will never be peaceful. But we can engage the mind by hearing so many wonderful stories from Puranas and Mahabharata, then the mind becomes satisfied. So that's the tradition in India. People, at least the villages, they come together, they hear Mahabharata or Ramayana every day, isn't it? It's a tradition. But this tradition gradually is being replaced by the TV. By Bollywood and all this nonsense. But it's there. Prabhupada said, Vedic culture in India is almost extinct. But he said India is like an elephant. Dead or alive is very valuable. Alive can walk, it can carry weight, so it's valuable. And if dead, the tusks are very valuable, So. And he said, also Prabhupada said, India is like a man who has a good eyes, but he's what do you call? Lame, paralyzed, but he has good eyes. And the West have a strong body but blind. So if the strong man, blind man, can carry on his shoulder, the lame man, he can guide him, turn right, turn left, go straight. So when Prabhupada arrived in London for the first time in '69, he was interviewed. Why do you come here? I came here to bring you what you forgot to take from India. You plundered India from its riches, but you forgot the most important riches. So I've come to remind you I come to bring you what you forgot to take. The spiritual knowledge. Some of you say God is dead, some of you say I am God. I come to teach you that actually God is real. I come to prove to you. All right. Any question, comments before we read the last verse? Let's read the last verse. 27. Now this one you have to read it from. Okay. 27, please. Ready? Atamam sarva bhuteshu bhutatmanam kritalayam arhayedana manabhyam maitra vinnena chakshusha. Therefore, through charitable gifts and attention, as well as through friendly behavior and by viewing all to be alive, one should propitiate me, who abide in all creatures as their very self.
Purport. It should not be misunderstood that because the super soul is dwelling within the heart of a living entity, the individual soul has become equal to him. The equality of the super soul and the individual soul is misconceived by the impersonalist. Here it is distinctly mentioned that the individual soul should be recognized in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The method of worshipping the individual soul is described here as either giving charitable gifts or behaving in a friendly manner, free from any separatist outlook. The impersonalist sometimes accepts a poor individual soul as being Daridra Narayan, meaning that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has become poor. This is a contradiction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in all opulences. He can agree to live with a poor soul or even with an animal, but this does not make him poor. There are two Sanskrit words used here, mana and dana. Mana indicates a superior, and dana indicates one who gives charitable gifts or is compassionate towards an inferior. We cannot treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an inferior who is dependent on our charitable gift. When we give charity, it is to a person who is inferior in his material or economic condition. Charity is not given to a rich man. Similarly, it is explicitly stated here that mana, respect, is offered to a superior and charity is offered to an inferior. The living entities, according to different results of fruitive activities, may become rich or poor, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unchangeable. He is always full in six opulences. Treating a living entity equally does not mean treating him as one would treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Compassion and friendliness do not necessitate falsely elevating someone to the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should not, at the same time, misunderstand that the super soul situated in the heart of an animal like a hog and the super soul situated in the heart of a learned Brahmana are different. The super soul in all living entities is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his omnipotency, he can live anywhere and he can create his Vaikuntha situation everywhere. That is his inconceivable potency. Therefore, when Narayana is living in the heart of a hog, he does not become a hog Narayana. He is always Narayana and is unaffected by the body of the hog.
Thank you. All right, so it's very clear the message. We should not discriminate against anyone because of their bodies, either human or animal. We should treat everyone nicely, respectfully, kindly, and the Lord will be satisfied. The Lord in the heart, if we are kind to other living entities, He will be satisfied. So they manufactured this term, the Ritra Narayan, which means poor Narayan. They say, Mayavadis, when they greet each other, especially sannyasi, they say Om Narayan, meaning you are Narayan. But no, Narayan is in the heart, but doesn't mean you become Narayan. I remember before coming to Krishna consciousness, I used to read a lot of books, even Vedic books like Upanishads, Mahabharata, Ramayana, of course, translation by Mayavadis mostly. I remember Yogi Ram Charaka or something. Anyway, so my friend once, we had some friends, oh, you read so many books, tell us what conclusion you came to. I told them, I came to the conclusion after reading all this book that we are not these bodies, we are the soul inside the body, but also that the Lord is in our heart. And since the Lord is in our heart, then we also are the Lord. We are all Lords. All the stars of the sun, moon are there for us. We are the center of the universe. Everything going around us to serve us. We are gods. Oh, that's very nice now. We are all gods. Big ego, So that's a false ego, I mean, Prabhupada said the last snare of Maya is to believe oneself God, The last trap of Maya, Since you can't be God in the material sense, because always competition, who can be in this world, everybody competing with each other, who's more rich, who's more powerful, Always there's somebody else more. But God's definition is nobody is equal to Him, nobody is superior to Him. Even when Krishna was on this planet, who was more rich than Him? Nobody. Who had 16,000 palaces full of riches and opulence, and 16,000 wives, and all being with servants and so much? Nobody, only Krishna. His words spoken 5,000 years ago in Bhagavad Gita still being studied and followed by millions of people. So it's very, people must understand the philosophy because they don't follow bona fide Guru Parampara. They make up their own philosophy. No? Like you are God, I'm God, everything is God, everything is one. Don't make dualities like that. This is misunderstanding. The living entity never can be equal to God. Krishna as Paramatma, the heart of the heart, doesn't mean he become home or is affected by the body. He's always transcendental. And why isn't the body of an animal? Why he wants to be there? Because without his presence in the heart of every living entities, they can't, know how to act. He's giving the intelligence. I mean, we have a farm in Mexico called New Bahulava, and birds. There are many birds, and they come to their nest, outside the house, on the walls outside the house, and they make it so fast and perfect, and it's attached to the wall, doesn't fall, and they do it just with using their ability, whatever. That's the devotee. Paramatma is giving them intelligence how to do it. Once I went to Vrindavan, one of the pujaris of the Radharaman temple invited a few of us to have prasad at his home. We have a nice relationship. So I saw that inside the house, there was a nest, bird nest inside his house. I asked him, really, what? He said, it's okay. I mean, I live here, also live here. We share the house, no problem. They come through the window, bring food to the small birds, and go away. So this is and he told me a funny story that devotees in Brazil invited him to go there to teach deity worship, to give seminar on deity worship. And they took him to a zoo, the city, Rio de Janeiro, took him to a zoo. And in the zoo, he saw monkeys behind bars, So he started laughing. The devotee asked, why you're laughing? Because in Vrindavan, monkeys are free, we are behind the bars in their house. And here, the monkey are behind, people are like that. So, I mean to say we have to be very kind, loving to every living entity. That's the teaching. Don't discriminate because of the bodily condition of the person or the animal, whatever. It's very important, that instruction of Lord Kapil. Because if the final conclusion that they worship the deity of the Lord is to come to the knowledge that He is in the heart of everyone. So thank you for coming. It's a little late. For tomorrow, you don't have to work tomorrow, Saturday. And but please, if you have any comment, question, please do. Yes.
Thank you so much. Very nice class. Thank you so much. One thing I just need more clarification. This statement will always come across.
Yes.
So you made a statement that the devotee who is actually ringing the bell is more important than the person who is actually doing the charity. And in India, there is a common statement: Manav Seva is a Madhav Seva.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, of course, that statement is wrong. What is Manav Seva, Madhav Seva? It's wrong. Because human beings are not God, are not Madhav. That's a misunderstanding, not only in India, everywhere. In all religion, they think by serving human beings, you are serving God. No, it's incorrect. Why? Because human being can never become God. I mean, to say real service to humanity is to give them God consciousness because they are forgotten God. So that's the real service, to humanity. But people think by serving the body of people, they are serving God. But that's not real service. Not to God, not to them. Why? Because the body is perishable. You have to die one day. So whatever benefit you give the body is going to end with the body. So what good service are you doing to humanity by just serving their bodies? It's not bad, it's good, you're doing good work. We don't say it's wrong, but it's not enough. And it's not service to God. Service to God is to give the people the prasad, the holy name, the knowledge, about Krishna consciousness. That's service. That's real service to humanity. So this Mana Seva, Madhav Seva, we don't agree with that. Prabhupada criticized that saying. I mean, that is a difference. It's a difference. Prabhupada is explaining here 2 words, mana and dana. Mana means you offer respect to the superior, and dana means you give charity to the inferior. So when you give charity, means they need. So the best charity to people is to give them what they lack most. And what they lack most is a spiritual life. That's why there is an imbalance in human society, because they try to take nice care of their human bodily needs, but they don't take care of their spiritual needs. So there's an imbalance. That's why there's so much disturbance in society, so many problems all the time, because people have forgotten to take care of their spiritual needs, and they are in anxiety, mental anxiety, distress, like that. So that's the problem. So the best service to humanity is to give them what they're most in need, what they are really lacking. That's spiritual life, Krishna consciousness. That's real service to humanity, spiritual service. We don't say you don't feed the poor or don't open hospital. It's all right, but it's not enough. It's not enough. The spiritual part is missing. I hope that answers. Yes, here it comes.
If the Paramatma gives animals the intelligence on like how to build house and how to act, why doesn't he give them the intelligence on how to serve the Lord?
Well, because they don't have the enough bodily ability to be able to do it, because they are completely under the walls of ignorance. They have to come to human life, then they will have opportunity. They are coming to human life. Sooner or later, all animals become humans. So Krishna will guide them to, according to their desire, to also become God conscious, Krishna conscious. They will get their opportunity, undoubtedly. Is that? Of course, there are devotees who are not human, like Garuda and Hanuman. They are not humans, they are great devotees. So, but generally speaking, Garuda is not even vegetarian. He eats fish and snakes. But he's Vaishnava. He's eagle, so that's his natural food. Yes.
I want to add something, Maharaj, to what you said, Rajesh Prabhu's question. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, we all know, the spiritual scientist.
Yes.
Vaishnava,
Let's take the mic, please. Everybody can hear you.
Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, we all know he has visited us. So he was telling story that before coming to Krishna consciousness, he was also like, he wanted to serve humanity and help people. So he will go and do some social service in outskirts of Mumbai, some slums or something. And he'll go give food and money, he was working a job. So what he said that it will help them for some time, and then the same thing will happen again. So he will go and find out why this is. So the man of the house will drink and, he'll beat the wife or whatever, trouble the children. So he realized that, he can't help people by just giving them some money or books or food. He realized there is a fundamental problem here. And that problem is, they are not God conscious. So that's when he changed from a social servant to, Krishna consciousness position. That's what I remember that.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a very good example. And the Chinese also have a saying that, of course, we don't agree with that, but the saying is that you can give fish to a man to eat, but best thing you teach him how to fish himself. But we don't eat fish. But the teaching is that you have to teach people how to grow their own food, if you want to solve the economic problems. Prabhupada said, Krishna and Balaram taught people how important is agriculture and cow protection. Balaram had a plow, so that's agriculture. And Krishna had a stick to take care of the cow, so that's cow protection. Those things not being practiced in much less in human society. That's why so much economic problems in the world. Everything's about exploitation. Human exploiting other humans, paying their very meager salaries, big factories, killing, especially in China, they have so many cheap labor, So that's why some people stop buying from big stores like, what is that? Name of that store? Big one? No. Walmart. Because they buy everything from China, everything. So there's a lot of human exploitation in the world. Slavery is going on. Don't think slavery stopped. Still going on. I just changed the name. Cheap labor. Now it's called slavery. So things are very much injustice in the world going on. We all know that. But the only solution to all this problem is people can become Krishna conscious. Then you learn how to treat better people. You see God in the heart of everyone. You're kind to everyone. So that's the solution, actually, to all the problems of life. The planet can become a better place. Prabhupada said, even if 1% of the population take to Krishna consciousness, planet become bipolar. 1%. It's a great challenge, we have ahead of us. Try to be ourselves always Krishna conscious and try to help others also become Krishna conscious. By your own example, the best way to preach your own example. If people see that by becoming Krishna conscious, you are more peaceful, more self-control, more forbearing, then they appreciate, this person is nice. What do you do, to be so peaceful? You can tell them about. Yes, Sagar Prashna. Prashna Sagar. Any question? You already asked the question.
Yeah.
There is one question from.
Yes, please do.
Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. I was just trying to reconcile Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction. He talks about Kanishka Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, and different stages of bhakti. And the loving everybody, having universal love, he delineates that for the Uttama Adhikari stage. So is that right understanding for us to understand that this is like the highest principle, to have the love for everybody is the highest principle, but we gradually go towards it? Is that how we understand?
Well, Srila Prabhupada said that, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta said, we must distribute prasad to everyone so that we become Kanishta Adhikar. And from Kanishta Adhikar, if you make your effort and practice sadhana, you can come from Kanishta Adhikar to Madhyama Adhikar. But Uttama Adhikar, your devotee, not only by your effort, only by Krishna's mercy, you can come to that stage. So it's not but you must do your best. Krishna will help, of course. And that comes with surrender, with practice. It comes. I mean, Prabhupada said that even Uttama Adhikar come voluntarily to the Madhyama Adhikar to do the preaching, because Uttama Adhikar doesn't make difference between devotee and non-devotee. Madhyama Adhikar has to make difference to preach, otherwise how we can preach? Understand? So our movement is for preaching, because there is much need of that. People are suffering because people are in ignorance. They forgot who really they are. They forgot what is the purpose of human life. What is the relationship with God? And because of that, they're suffering life after life. So just to ease their pain for some material benefit is a temporary relief. But Krishna consciousness is giving the permanent relief. Even if they don't continue, even for some time they do some chanting or reading, that will be in their eternal account. Next life they will continue. So that's the beauty of the bhakti process, that there is never loss or diminution. It's always increasing. So Prabhupada said, I create this movement to give opportunity to everyone to practice devotional service, even if it is for some time. So that's the charity, the biggest charity. We should not worry much. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, if I'm liberated or not liberated, I should worry more about to follow the instruction of my Guru Parampara. That's my life and soul. He gave me instruction, follow this principle, chant this minimum number of, I should follow that. That's my life and soul. And try to help others at the same time. We have to be compassionate. Once in South America, Prabhupada was asked by Professor Prabhupada, why do you emphasize so much big amount of book distribution? Prabhupada said, because that's the only hope for people who don't know anything about Krishna. Their only hope is that somebody will give them a book about Krishna. That's why I'm emphasizing so much, giving so much importance to book distribution. So I always carry some books with you, even at your work, your job. You can always give somebody a little book. Okay, a little gift there. Try to do that every day. You will see you're giving the best charity. Advancement will come naturally. If the Lord is pleased, the Guru is pleased, then without your notice, you are making spiritual progress. Very nice, very good. Thank you for your patience and coming and hearing. It's very pleasant always to see so many devotees coming together. Hari Katha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi.
His Holiness Bhakti Sundar Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Who want to chant the Prasad prayer?
Yeah.
Chant, some chant.
Mahaprasade Govinde.
Mahaprasade Govinde.
Prabhu
Namo
Brahmani Vaishnave. Swava Punyavadam Rajan. Vishwashanya Vijayate. Sharira Vidyacha. Jodendriyanta hai kaam. Pehले Vishesagare.
The Ekadasi today. This word Anna is supposed to be grain, isn't it? So we say only the first one. We say on Mahaprasad Govinde. We can say that's it. Yeah. We have an offer to Gilam now. Please stand up. Please stand up.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So, a big thank you to His Holiness Bhakti Sundar Goswami Maharaj for a very wonderful class. Please give them we host Prabhu and we have a please give them a round of applause also. For the class is a whole program at Anandila Mataji's home as well in the morning and in the evening.